Let me know when we're. The owl told us. Well, thank you for that. Maren Martin, I'm the chairman of the Land Bank Board of Directors. Thank you everyone for being here today. We appreciate that. We have a few items of business on our agenda today. I'd like to start by pointing out that minutes of our last meeting have been distributed to board members in the packet. Trust everybody had a chance to review those. We had a good meeting last month. I think there's quite a bit of activity on there. So we appreciate that. Is there any feedback on the minutes that have been prepared from the last meeting? If there's not, I'd entertain a motion to accept those minutes as prepared by the staff. So, Mike, thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Chris, thank you. Rob, thank you for your effort on the minutes. Appreciate that. And Jess, thank you. If there's no other further comments, all those in favor of accepting the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed to accepting those minutes? There is none, so we'll consider those accepted. Thank you. I think I've said everything I need to say, and now I'll turn it over to Jess for her executive director's report.
Our City of Binghamton American Rescue Plan Act and Land Bank Initiative Rehab Project updates. We've closed on sale 14 McNamara Ave. We wish those buyers all the best and the success in their home ownership journey. Closings for 8 Gray Street and 33 Elm Street are not too far behind. We're moving forward towards commitment. 170 Mueller Street is listed for sale. We've had a lot of showings and interest, but no official offers yet. But John Farrell continues to show the house.
It looks outstanding.
Yeah.
For those who weren't at the press conference, sorry to interrupt, please get in touch with Jess and Rob and have him show you. Wow, that place is outstanding. Yes.
Our project at 5 Tremont Ave is up for consideration for award today. We received 4 bids at our bid opening. Project at 27 Columbia Ave is currently out to bid. Several contractors attended our pre-bid meeting and bids are due back this Friday. We've since closed on the sale of 21 Walnut Street with Bob Chan of Vision Build Holdings. He's working with L2 Studio Architecture on the plans for the rehab. And just as a reminder, we're working with Len Cicerelli at SEP Group to help us construction manage the project. So this will be very similar to our 3 King Avenue project, and Bob is really excited to get going. We do plan to reissue an RFP for the purchase and redevelopment in 181 Holly Street soon, with a few minor tweaks, such as a longer time frame to respond. And potentially a higher amount in an offer to a subsidy. But I'll circulate that to the board and see if you have any objections to that. Our County American Rescue Plan Act funds and our LBI demo project updates. LCP Group finalized and completed all the site work for our most recent demo round, and Delta Engineers has signed off on everything. Payment's been issued for both of our consultant and the contractor. Another successful demo round, very happy. With the completion of this round of demolitions, we are actively looking for more projects, of course, as we have demo funds to spend. So we're working closely with our county partners on the new foreclosure list for some possible sites for future demolition projects, and we're still working out the details on that. Our Land Bank Initiative operating funds, we're tracking all of our expenses. We get this report every month. We have $200,000 per each fiscal year. We probably request our first disbursement request before the end of the calendar year, just to tie some things up. Our Land Bank Initiative Phase 2 and P2, not to be confused, these are capital funds, but they are 2 different pots of funding. We're continuing to track our expenses in both of those funds. As a reminder, it supports the Land Bank's demolition program, redevelopment expenses towards our renovation projects, and some future acquisition and some reasonable subsequent rehabilitation projects. We're about to submit our first draw for our P2 award, which totals just under $290,000. Our vacant rental program, there's another project before the board for consideration today. It's located on Clinton Street in the first ward. One of our first projects at 9 Waldo Ave in Endicott is completed. And the project at 140 Holly Street is continuing nicely and shouldn't be too much longer before it's completed. Our projects at 18 McGatt Street, 7 Carhart, and 23 Parsons are shaping to get underway soon after some environmental concerns are addressed. And as it relates to our last board meeting, 18 Carey Street, we did meet with the property owner and RCM for the project, and we advised the property owner, Dominique Rice, to put us in touch with her contact at the senator's office to learn more about the grant opportunities she may have access to. Robin, my understanding about member items is that they're administered through and by DASNY. And largely speaking, they do have little restrictions, but we are waiting on full details as requested by the board. Once we have that information, I'll certainly report back. I did tell her that, you know, if we can use the funding, I think we should definitely try to do that, but we just need to have a little bit more information as it relates to how that works. Is it reimbursable? Is it upfront? What are the stipulations on it? So just waiting on that information.
Jess, I thought that was a good conversation last month for those who weren't here, just to refresh it. That was the project where we were proposing to award the VRP funds, but then there was sort of this last minute information related to potential other grant opportunities going into that project. I still think it's just important we know what that is and that applicants disclose that to us when they apply, so that we understand. And I think that was probably the sense of the board too, that we understand what other sources of funding go into a project above and beyond what the land bank grant funds are. So at the very least, we can make sure that there's consistency in the requirements and that there's no conflict. So I'm glad that you've been around there talking with her.
Yep. We want to make sure that this is a successful project. Our goal is all of our projects. But with our vacant rental program, our goal is to put these units back on the market, but to really ensure the long-term success of the landlords, and then the landlords serve the tenants, right? So Dominique's success, all of our other property owners, their success is our success. So if we can.
Sounds like a great project that she has going based on even her being here explaining it.
Yep, definitely. Happy to report, maybe, and I'll put it out to the board on how you feel about this. HCR just opened a new round of VRP funding yesterday. There's $24 million available. And current VRP recipients are able to reapply. So that's something that we may, that just happened yesterday. We're just educating ourselves on it now. So maybe in December, we'll come back with some more details on it. Our small business tipping fee waiver program, there's an application before the board today to consider a application or project in Endicott. We are very pleased with the increased interest in the program this year. Our cheerleader LCP group has definitely brought a handful of projects to our attention. So we're happy that they've been able to help us with that. Certainly, definitely a productive year for the program. And as a reminder, applications are capped at $15,000 each, and small businesses are defined as having 50 employees or less. I do want to just FYI the board that for the foreseeable future, and we're working with IdeaCraft to put a notice on our website. For this program moving forward, we will only be able to accept applications that will result in clean debris. As the landfill is not accepting any more asbestos debris at this time. They're working on opening up their new cell, but in the interim, we awarding a small business tipping fee waiver application for asbestos materials is moot. So we just can't consider it. So there's going to be a little bit more scrutiny on our end as it relates to folks coming before us. So it's going to need applications are going to need pre-demolition asbestos surveys. So they can't be structurally condemned, and they need to be clean.
Yep.
And are we funding that? Is there a mechanism to this? How many properties would fall into that category? At least in the city, probably not a lot, right?
Well, I mean, I think many of the demos we do are structurally condemned. This program, I don't know. What would you guys say?
But as far as the asbestos stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think like our demos, many of them would be hot, like many of
Right,
them. would-
yeah, so that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So are we looking at?
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
I just asked you this question.
It's a challenge. I think, Mayor, it is a challenge. I don't want to jump on,
No,
on
you're
that just, but I think it is because as it relates to demolitions going forward, it's going to be a challenge. The reason for this, as you probably all know, is that there was a huge demolition that recently occurred in Endicott. We all agree probably that was a necessary thing, but because of a massive amount of material needing to go into the landfill in a relatively quick period of time, they can't get all of that to the landfill.
Yeah, I mean,
so
that
that's
makes
why
perfect sense. So are we saying that the developer is on their own to clean it up before or are we saying that we're gonna be looking at, an additional supplement for that, or are we saying that we just don't know either way?
We can't supplement it because
Yep.
this program,
It's just,
like,
yeah, it's at the door of
it's
the
a waiver.
landfill. So like, it's
Oh,
like,
that's.
yeah, so like the hauler will bring it up and
Yeah,
that's what's
maybe you're right,
waived.
we're waiving
Yeah.
the fees, so. we
But
can't-
it does affect the land bank in our
Does.
laws, right? Now, like,
Okay.
I could put a caveat onto our small business tipping fee waiver program, I guess. If a pre-demo asbestos survey is done and there is hot asbestos material, I suppose it could be abated. And then that asbestos material taken to Elmira or somewhere else that accepts ACM, and then we can demo as clean and that debris can go to
Yeah,
our
that could-
landfill. That's possible. It's just, I mean, the priority is definitely gonna be clean debris first.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess I was,
Mhm.
that technically could be an eligibility, but that just means there's less money for.
So the thing is that any asbestos material, whether it's abated, sort of a separate pile, or whether it's in a demolition, cannot currently go to the Broome County
That
landfill.
makes sense,
Yeah.
okay.
So we don't outlay cash to the
we
applicant.
waive the
We're just
fee.
waiving a tipping fee, which is a budgeted thing by the county.
But
So-
would we fund it to take it somewhere else? as
No.
Part of it, okay.
Mm-mm.
We don't have, there's no cash essentially outlay for the county. It's just a sort of.
Well, but I mean, I guess if we were saying to clean it and take it to another,
Right.
They would have to do that before they even
they're on their own.
come, yeah, I would say they would have to do that before they come to us and ask
Yep.
for a waiver.
So in order for them to be eligible now for the program, they have to provide something that
Yeah.
says that it's clean.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And it has to, and like, there's some demos that can happen with non-friable asbestos in place, so it comes down hot. That can't even go. So like, these folks, any asbestos material has to be removed.
Yeah, I would think that would apply to the overwhelming majority.
It would.
Probably,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about this that, for those who haven't been following it super closely, there's like a required amount of sort of household municipal
Yeah.
trash that has to go into the landfill. A certain amount of that before you can put in this other material. And so the rate at which there is asbestos material is greater than the rate at which Tony did that great. At which the household garbage. is coming in.
The way it's like.
So-
Yeah.
It is an interesting dynamic. Driven by the fact that we had those huge demolitions that it got, right? That's what. it's
That is
driven by.
interesting, given that the amount of
Yeah.
trash that exists.
Yeah.
So is this temporary or is this permanent?
Temporary.
Oh,
Until the amount of household waste provides enough cover, I guess, as they call it. I don't know if that's the right word.
I see.
Yeah, temporary.
Have they given you any?
No.
Okay, all right, so just, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
There's still a tremendous amount on that site.
Yes,
There is.
Right.
but how did they know? I mean, it's on a lot of houses. What's the enforcement on that? Or
We are
inspection?
required by New York State Department of Labor to use one of our environmental consultants, and Delta or Keystone are both, we pick one for the different projects. They go in and they physically test to see what's in there. And then we have to abide by that, and it's all monitored and we're under close scrutiny.
So where Mike's coming from is like, how, like, say, for example, like a private business owner wants a small business to be
Mhm.
from us, right? The enforcement mechanism there is if we're waiving that fee, the landfill is asking for that pre-demo
Yes.
asbestos survey and certification of abatement.
If somebody owns property, they can clean it up themselves, put it in garbage bags. It goes to the landfill, nobody knows.
Yes, we wouldn't have any knowledge or control over that. The place we would have knowledge or control over is people asking for tipping fee waivers, which there is a demolition contractor associated with that. And that demolition contractor, along with the site owner, are required to go through that process with testing and monitoring that, right?
So you
So,
have to do an asbestos notification waiver, notification to the Department of Labor.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But they can clean it up on their own before they even submit the request.
they could do that. What we require, because I don't think, we don't send our environmental firms in there, we require that the applicant submit to us the required paperwork that states that it's clean. After that, we go on about our way, we don't sort of figure out what happened in advance necessarily, as long as we have that documentation.
If a crooked contractor has a crooked environmental tester on speed dial, that's not our purview. That's a New York State regulation guy.
Yeah, ultimately, they're responsible, like DOL doesn't come after us for a tipping fee waiver, they go after
It's
the
not
project.
like asbestos is not poison. It's not like hydrochloric acid.
Someone could offer to drink a cup of it. Heard that somewhere before. I got us off track, just.
You're fine. The only other things I had to mention, was we have a monthly optional Land Bank Association check-in call this Thursday. Rob and I usually participate. There's usually just some back and forth amongst, land bank directors and other folks. Our investments, there's a small report in the packet, but our deposit placement agreement with MBT and Interfee, we have fully invested, 1.25 million, which is the cap established by the board, and we've earned, in that time frame, we've earned just over $9,000 in interest.
Good.
That's it. Oh, yeah.
Okay, excellent. Questions for Jess on her report?
Just clarify again, then, in this quarter, we had the sale of property and the financial statements for the year. Actual today is 451,000, which is great.
Mhm.
Right, this is all discretionary funds, right? They're not locked,
Um,
or are they?
No. Internally, I think we've made when the school district ruling came down, we kind of decided to set our sale proceeds aside, and track them separately due to that issue. But technically speaking, they are not restricted.
Are these from the sale of renovated properties?
Renovated property. So the CDBG ones are, but these are.
The only thing I'd say about that, and not like it can never change, our long-standing tradition in the entire time I've been involved in this board, which is whatever today minus 2013 is, right? Is that we have, well, I think we could argue this and disagree about this. Our tradition has been that we roll the proceeds from the sale of properties under certain programs back into those programs. Not saying it always has to be that way, but that is what we have traditionally done. So
CDBG, I think it makes a lot of sense, given potential
The-
program income, who interprets, right?
And technically, the HCR did make us commit to that,
Yeah.
and one of my things that I said to them was, and this was when the whole school district ruling was happening, I was like, respectfully, Charlie, I don't know if I can commit to a time frame on that, because I don't know when these properties are gonna come through. They said, oh, don't worry about it, I'm like, all right, are you gonna sign off on this? And they did, they're fine, but yes, those CDBG dollars those are restricted, and those need to roll into other similar projects.
the LBI funded rehabs, the ARPA funded rehabs,
Yeah, so the
those
ARPA.
we traditionally.
Yeah, we've made that decision, and it was for Mayor David, and it was expected that we would try to roll those back into future projects if we can. Yeah.
It is when you say the 1.2 million invested, right?
Yes.
Does that include, so when we get these property sales, not CDBG, is that what's also being invested?
So yes, so like, if you remember the sale of 50 Front Street.
Yeah.
And like all, like kind of like all of our CRI sales, things like all of our sales.
Yeah.
Those are the dollars that have been invested. Yep. Yep.
I will say we've been fortunate, to date that the state, through the advocacy of even our local legislators, a lot, like, some of them, Lombardo, Senator Webb, and, others around the state have done well at ensuring that we've had operating funds, in the budget, that have come through for LBI. I wouldn't say I'm a cynic, but, we need to be aware too, in the future, that might not always be available, so that is a consideration, I think, as far as at least my thought process is. We always need to be aware that at some point operating funds could dry up, and we just need to be prepared internally to address that if that does happen. But short of that, I would still continue to advocate to the board that we roll proceeds of sales into similar or the same programs. Going forward, it seems to make sense to reinvest that money into those kind of projects. Any other comments or questions? The executive director? Excellent. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Jess, for that. Rob, thank you for your work there too. We appreciate that. Next up is Public and Community Advisory Panel comment section. I would just note for those that are present, if you have a project that is later on the agenda to be considered by the board and you want to speak on that, you don't need to do so now. We will give you time when we get to that section to introduce yourself and say anything you want about the project, as well as answer any questions any board members have. You're not prohibited from speaking now, but just to let you know, you will have an opportunity then too. If you want to speak twice, you get a second chance here, or first chance. So I'd open it up for commentary from members of the public. And if you wish to address the board, we ask that you do so for a period of 5 minutes or less. Just introduce yourself and speak on topics related to land bank business would be always preferred. So is there anybody who wishes to address the board? Okay, seeing none, let's move on to our new business. Jess, we have a resolution related to authorizing the executive director to enter into an agreement with Karina Martinez to utilize a portion of our VRP funding for the rehabilitation of 147 Clinton Street in the city of Binghamton.
So Ms. Martinez, requested funding, for a property on, 147 Clinton Street, seeking up to $100,000 in VRP funds for a 2-family vacant property. She qualifies for a program as an eligible property owner who resides locally, and has agreed to our rental limit at or below fair market value, earning herself a full 100 points. I did clarify that with her. That's in the packet for for the board's review. VRP funds will be utilized in both the interior and exterior of the building for the feasibility report of CMA. That's also in the board packet. And just for reference, Ms. Martinez, her application was one of those applications that were received kind of sort of towards the end of that first initial window. So we're kind of like slowly making our way through, and those applications that are scoring those, those full points are being brought to you first. There is another applicant that owns an eligible property, but not within the city, that was received first, or around more on the first, but so we're just making our way through.
I do think that this isn't all related to the issue we have in front of us. Seeing some applications from other places around representing some geographic diversity, I look forward to seeing that too.
Yeah.
Some more of that.
Yep.
So thank you. Okay, so we have this application before us. I trust that the board has had the chance to at least peruse it. And Ms. Martinez, we welcome your commentary. If you want to just introduce yourself a little bit, give us a couple, little bit of tidbits on your project, and if there's questions, we'll let you have them.
147 Clinton Street is it's 2 apartments. It's pretty straightforward. It's just a lot of cosmetic work mostly. it hasn't been, occupied in a while, it seems, but we think it'd be really nice. We also, want the property next door, so we've always loved Second Street.
I'm sorry, you have a what next door?
The property next door, yeah,
Mhm.
and so we kind of, are hoping to add to the area.
For reference, sorry, Board, Karina did also request funding for 149 Clinton Street too. Because we have more applications than what we have funding for, I did ask Karina what was more,
Yep.
what higher priority, and obviously this 2 units, higher priority, so that's kind of where we're gonna start.
Do you anticipate that the funding that is being provided will allow you to complete the project, or is there additional funding that you would be putting into the project yourselves?
That's it, that'll get us.
Great, and you're comfortable with the guidelines that are associated with the program as far as who you can rent to and how you can do that? Okay, good. Yeah.
I think it's a great project, so thank you guys for doing that. The street has a lot of potential across the city, just got its recent award, so it's gonna be a thriving area, so I'd be happy to make the motion unless anybody else has any questions or comments.
We'll have a motion on the table, but you want to set that aside just for a second? Mark, do you want to have a question or comment?
Yeah. Rich, I might have missed it, but how many bedrooms in each unit?
So, sorry, let me just,
Yeah.
Might be on the feasibility report, give me 2 seconds.
the upstairs is 1 bedroom. And then the downstairs has 2 bedrooms.
And there's that garage in the back, is work done on that or?
Is that eligible? No?
Not part of this, but we do plan on doing something, maybe property parking in the. And
Excellent.
that's some ideas.
And
Is there off-street parking there? Like there's like a place people can park in the driveway or the back? Yeah.
And thank you for agreeing to the lower fence. Made it up to everyone, and everyone has taken it, so thank you, you're gonna be saving tenants. We appreciate that.
Any other questions or comments? If not, we'll go back to a motion on the table by Rich. Thank you for that. The motion is to authorize the executive director to enter an agreement with Karina Martinez for a portion of VRP funding for 147 Clinton Street in the city of Binghamton. Is there a second on that motion? We have nod and we have a hand. Sorry. Okay, we'll come to you next time, Wendy. Any other further discussion? If not, if you're in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
If you're opposed, say nay. That carries. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thanks, Karina.
Jeff will be in
We'll
touch.
be in touch, thank you so much.
Yep. You're welcome to stick around if you're so inclined. You're welcome to leave if you're. We don't hold that against anyone. All right, great. How much, justice and curiosity, how many more projects do you, I know it's impossible to exactly tell because there are differing amounts. But
I
if you
think
had to guess.
I think we can do one more.
Yeah.
We've allocated it all. We went in with a conservative ask and we got a lot more interest than I had anticipated,
Yeah,
but it's good.
way
It's good.
more applications than we have
Way more
money to do.
applications than we have money to do.
Your problem, Val.
Yes.
Have we approved that many already?
It's $75,000 a unit or $50,000 a unit goes quick in $1 million.
Right.
How many have we approved so far? Do you guys know by chance up there? 5, 6?
6 now?
Well, the one for Oxford was.
Well, I haven't even brought that one before you. I haven't even brought that one. Dominique's property at 18 Cary Street's 4 units, so that's $300,000. So that's a third of the funding right there. Yeah.
Right.
And then the other ones are like, $75,000 per unit, 18
Times
against
two,
Street
right?
times 2. Yeah, so.
Holly Street,
Holly
right?
Street.
The one that just got done.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it goes pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, to the point,
Even better than. 50 more.
To your point, I mean, the rices alone, that's a third of the money, right? So that was a big.
Yep.
A big mover as far as.
There's a new round out now, so we'll. 7, okay.
Give or take, my math might be a little fuzzy.
7 properties or 7 units?
7 properties,
Yep. Great,
I believe.
yep. And I do think that, you know. The discussions were good. I think Stark's point earlier, discussions earlier this year were good as it related to creating an incentive for those who were gonna accept probably a more reasonable, rent type approach here versus what the state had set up as allowable. So, okay. Good. Let's move on then to, item number 7. This relates to, authorizing the executive director to enter into an agreement with Wally Associates LLC, to utilize a portion of Land Bank's tipping fee allocation for the demolition of 105 Grant Avenue in the village of Endicott. What would you like to say about this?
Okay, so this project was brought to our attention by Jim Wally,
Welcome.
a business owner in Endicott. He's partnering with LCP Group. As I mentioned, LCP has helped us, just about spend these dollars down this year, so it's good. So there's a garage in the back of this property that's just in really bad repair, bad condition. The Village of Endicott Code Enforcement, or Fire Marshal rather, it has been requesting that this outbuilding be demolished. We're towards the end of the fiscal year. These funds cannot roll over eligible property owner. So I would recommend, and 60 tons, it's a very small project. And to our point that we had earlier, this is not condemned, and a pre-demolition asbestos survey has been done and it's clean. So it can go to the landfill.
Thank you. Mr. Wally, what would you like to add?
Basically everything she just said. I received a call and a letter from the code enforcement officer stating that they received a complaint about the garage in the back, and the roof line and the roof started to come in. It's an empty garage. We don't use it. We bought these properties in 2020. And it just sits there. There's no parking for the tenants. So this would actually offer a lot more parking for the tenants that live at 105 Grant if we demolish the building. We did look into redoing the roof and all that. It just wasn't worth it we're not gonna use it. So there really was no point. We did contact LCP Group. She did tell us about the tipping fee waiver program. So we did sign a contract with her, and we did also have the asbestos test done, and it is clean. So, the neighbors want it gone. We would love it gone. It would definitely help to raise the value of the properties in the area. Here's a picture of the building if you want to see it.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yep, as a emergency entrance or exit through the roof.
Through the roof. There's critters, they go in and out there's some holes around the bottom.
Mhm.
It's just gonna make it much better for that.
And Jim, the plan is just to have this just be a parking lot then for the
Yeah,
property?
gone, gravel.
Okay.
You're gonna bring in gravel for it and.
Yeah, it has a concrete slab underneath,
Right.
so we were just gonna gravel the slab with the
Okay.
existing.
Mhm.
There's no need in covering the slab, it's
Mhm.
flat.
All right. Thank you. Questions for Mr. Wally on this one?
Or, I get this. Hopefully commercial. If we go away. Cause this is,
I hear you.
I wish we had 10 million for it, but this one struck me as odd because there's
Yeah.
a lot of these residential.
Yep. So I think I would say that the program has not been as fine tuned as it should be. It's eligible.
Okay.
Hey, Tarek, I will point this out. According to this information here, this property is zoned commercial.
Yes.
Yep, and it's owned, the property's owned by a commercial entity. I would say that, that there is a reasonable discussion to be had about that. point that you made.
Mhm.
I would view it as eligible. There's an LLC involved here. My understanding is that you own other properties like this, right? So this is a commercial enterprise for you, although it's obviously a residential property. I think there is a legitimate discussion to be had as we go forward about the program and what should be eligible there. I know there's a couple other things that have sort of happened over time with this program that has led Jess and Rob, I think, to sort of fine tune. We had a circumstance earlier this year, I think it was this year, maybe last year, where we approved a waiver before there was ownership of the property. There's some sort of tinkering, I think, that maybe fine tuning needs to be done. But I would say this project is eligible as the program is defined now.
If I may add too, there is in Endicott, there is no street parking from, I believe it's 2 a.m. till 6 a.m. in the winter. Zero. It's not alternate street like there's in Binghamton, it's just zero. So
Yeah.
this would allow the tenants in that building ample parking to get their cars off the street so they don't get tickets.
Yep.
And that would help. Well,
I have the same exact question you did, right?
we have their all utilities included. There's single units that rents for around $500 a piece. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, thanks. You're welcome.
All right, I had the same question, Tara. Yeah. Is there any other questions, comments related to this?
It eliminates flight too.
It eliminates.
Yeah, and it helps to raise the property values in the area because
That's.
it's a nice little section of
Yep.
Endicott.
Yeah.
It's-
I will say, I think I understand what you're asking too, Tark. There is a question about, there's probably a lot of like homeowners, for instance, right, that maybe have something on their property that maybe it'd be good to have that going too. This sort of is on that line, of that. So, we appreciate your application. Thank you. Any other questions for him? Any comments? All right, if not, entertain a motion, to. You don't know what I said yet.
I'm ready to make a motion regardless of what you say.
By the deputy director of park. Is,
I'll make that motion.
is there a motion to authorize the executive director to enter an agreement with Wally Associates to utilize a portion of land bank's tipping fees for the demolition of 105 Grant Avenue? Probably not actually the demolition of 105 Grant Avenue.
We've always,
Yeah.
we've always worded
Demo-
it.
Otherwise, the owner's gonna show up and he's gonna have no apartment building anymore.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
That motion-
question.
Yeah.
This goes by the calendar year.
Yep.
Will this exhaust our credit?
It will not. No, so we have $17,000 left. This is 60 tons.
Yeah.
It's gonna be about 3,000.
Yeah, just estimate about approximately 3,000.
3,000, yep, and just for full disclosure, I might be bringing another project to you in December. Christina has kind of one last one that she'd like to fit in prior to the end of the year, so, yep.
So I guess I would say, typically allocation of the demolition of a building.
Ancillary building?
At 105
Motion
Grand
passed.
Avenue in the village of Endicott. We have a motion. Chris, yes, you raised your hand in a
Also.
second. Wendy, thank you. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Jess will be in
Enjoy your
touch.
day.
Just a reminder, because I feel obligated to do so. Make sure that you folks and Christina reach out to Rob and Jess before you start the demolition. Otherwise, it goes poorly on the back end.
Christina should know by now, but yeah,
Yeah.
please let us.
We have a meeting today and,
Yeah.
we're gonna do some stuff.
She's here many times, in many
Good.
meetings, if you understand.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, thank you. Okay, last last item, on the regular agenda is a resolution awarding contract to Malarkey Construct, did I miss something?
No.
Malarkey Construction LLC for the renovations and reconstruction of 5 Tremont Avenue in the city of Binghamton. Jess?
So, following our typical solicitation and bidding procedures, we went out to bid on this renovation project, in consultation with L2 Studio Architecture, and we received 4 bids. Malarkey Construction being the lowest at $199,500. I'm asking the board for an amount not to exceed 220,000 in the event of unforeseens. Unforeseens do not typically happen, with plans that are drafted by L2, just for reference. So I don't expect that to happen, but I'm just asking for a little bit of a cushion.
Sure. What's the total amount you're looking for?
$220,000, on the resident side.
Yep. All right, excellent. I think it's gonna be a great project. We have questions for Jess on this project. This one, just for everyone's benefit, this had a storied, unhappy, I think, ownership track record. And so, from a former owner, significant owner of property in Broome County, which is a sad chapter in our history. But this is just one thing that we're doing, meaning the land bank, to sort of help rewrite that history, or at least make better history going forward. So, and this one came from, if I recall correctly, like the requirement or interest in getting these properties out of the hands of that former developer, former owner, rather, is a better word for it.
Yep.
And sort of get something good happening there. So here we are. Any questions? I will also note that, as you will recall, talked about it before, there's a property neighboring this, closer to Conklin Avenue, which I believe the city of Binghamton, the mayor, and others are working to address too. It's a property where there's a fire.
Yep.
It's uninhabitable due to that fire. The city is taking some legal action, which is never fast, to try to get that property addressed. That's really critical to this property. You can't have a renovated house with a burned out thing next to it. Right? So,
in April if we don't.
thank you for that information. I appreciate that. That's good. I know there's a involved legal process that with that other process that we've talked, maybe that'll work. If not, we have that one. I just don't see a scenario where anyone's gonna redeem that. I mean, it's like burned out, right? There's nothing you can do there. It's like no roof or something, right? So, okay.
We'll be getting that.
And I will say, I mean, I think our intention, I don't want to speak for anybody else, but I think our intention would be to demolish that property.
Yes.
Or probably create some other issues, because I'm sure it'll be condemned. But
Yep.
we'll figure that part out.
Yep.
I do think that to the discussion we had before, I think we're in a situation where if there are condemned properties that need to be demolished yet can't be abated first, we're going, not just us, we generally, community wide, are gonna see a higher cost for those demolitions, because obviously if you have to transport that debris to somewhere else other than Broome County, it's gonna cost more to do it.
Yeah.
So we'll cross the bridge when we get there. But anyway, we have a good bid, meets all the requirements, and I'd entertain a motion to award this project to Malarkey Construction LLC, unless there are other questions. If not, do we have a motion?
I'm just abstaining because it's on my block.
Do you have any financial interest?
No, but I don't need it.
You don't want the appearance of a conflict.
I agree. I agree. I just asked that.
Real or perceived?
I asked that so it's
Yeah.
clear to the public that you have no
Yeah.
interest either in formerly owning it, currently owning any of that. Any concerns with an abstention? Okay.
You still have enough, right?
Yeah, we do. Okay, I'd entertain a motion to award to Malarkey. So Tony, second, Rich. Thank you. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We have Tarek abstaining. That carries. Thank you for your work on that one. All right, old business, or any other business that we have neglected to address is yes.
One thing, I sent out to the board, with the packet, a formal invitation to you all to attend my final class at BU on December 4th, Thursday, December 4th. My students will be giving their final presentations on the land bank that they created to the county that they were assigned. So you all are welcome to join. If you plan to join, let me know so I can give your name to security and they'll let you in. So I'd love to have each of you there.
I had the opportunity, I think as others did, to speak to this class. So I think Tony, you did too.
I did.
Yeah, so it's exciting. I
It
think,
was very nice.
yeah, if you're around,
It was really good.
I'd encourage you to come check it out.
I do have one thing too. Tyler is from the Shenango County Chamber of Commerce.
Welcome.
They have been expressing an interest in forming a land bank in Shenango County. So I want to thank Aaron, Jess, and Rob. We held a meeting just to kind of give them some feedback, things they were looking at. You know, it's a different form of government there in Shenango, so they want to kind of know where to go from here. So really, the three here have since January been trying to facilitate and help them along to form a land bank in Shenango. So we asked them to stay and get a feel of what the meeting was like. So
Great. Is our friends from Shenango one of the groups that your students are working with?
yes,
Yeah.
That's a
actually,
that's a
too.
softball.
My
Yeah.
students have taken it upon themselves that this is a personal competition to which land bank's gonna be created first.
Oh,
So. I guess the challenge is on, Tyler.
Challenge is on.
Yeah, I guess I would just reiterate what probably we talked about. When did we meet last? What, I mean, my gosh, like,
First started of January.
okay, I just reiterate what I said there. What the land bank is today here in Broome County is not really what it was when we started here. We started out as essentially doing a few demolitions and we sort of come into our own. I think that maybe different people around the table have different opinions on where we should go after this, and I think that's fine. That's a great thing. But in some ways, I think my best advice is to, if it's something you want to pursue, get started in a way in which you can realistically do what you want to do and then build into whatever it is that you want to become after that. I think that going back to 2013, probably most of us here around this table or even weren't at this table all the time, probably wouldn't envision that we'd be doing what we're doing now back then. So we were really proud of the demolitions we did at first, right? Because you live next to bad place, that's all you think about, right? It was a big impact on the communities doing that alone. And now being able to take properties like in the city of Binghamton, for instance, and just renovate them so that people have a chance to own a home. It's pretty touching, right? You feel good about it when you've got folks that are getting a chance that could never otherwise afford to be able to do it. You know, so. And on top of that, we have been involved in some cool, bigger projects too, commercial type projects. So good luck to you.
Thank you.
We're happy to serve as a resource anywhere we can to you
Thank you.
folks. Great. Are they coming to your
I
class?
believe they are.
Sal's gonna come. Are you gonna come, Tyler?
I cannot make it that night.
Oh,
I'll
okay.
be there.
All right, Sal.
And the other counties also?
I've invited them. I haven't heard back yet.
There's a virtual option too or something.
Yes, I'm gonna stream it, so I'll share the Zoom link with you all if you don't wanna come down to class for a very late class. I know, it's late.
Yeah, it was late.
Yes, I know. it's so many
We do have some MPA, we do have at least two MPA graduates in this room, right? Three.
I'm MBA, not MPA.
We have the former mayor, we have the executive director, and we have the vice chair are all MBA graduates, so it could be like a return to your roots. We excited.
I think, and he won't agree with this. But land bank creation should be like Major League Sports. When you enter afterwards, you have to pay a fee and all the other. Because if it's created in other counties, the pool of money gets.
The pool.
Pool of money gets.
I will say, when we established this, we had no idea what we were doing.
No.
And so it's nice to have somebody you can talk to about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, great. Congratulations. I hope you folks do pursue it. And if you do, we can serve as a resource. We're happy to do it. Yeah, Star.
My good friend over here used the word auction twice.
Which friend?
That's my favorite word.
Which one?
The one over here.
Oh.
Need to share over the dates.
Thursday.
Thursday, is that
Yep.
everything but the city of Binghamton?
It is the city of Binghamton,
So Thursday is just the city of Binghamton.
basically, that's the bulk of properties, yes.
And then you said April would be another auction, that's just,
No, April is a final day to pay, city of Binghamton properties.
oh, okay.
So there's a mailing out right now with, a final reduction date.
All right. You still, is it been asked in the packet is there?
Yep, and so it's gonna be at the Holiday Inn. Registration starts at 4:30, the auction starts at 5:30
Okay.
on Thursday.
Anything else on that list for us?
There actually is, you
Yeah,
want
there's
to,
a whole lot
Yeah.
of things that aren't on the
Yeah.
auction block.
to allow time to work out
Mhm.
That
what
we,
could be
we've
worked
set
out.
aside to work through the details.
Yep. So we're just working through like how to purchase them, how much, different things like that, right? But Wendy was very kind to pull 5 properties off the list for renovation. And then another 6 for demo. So a
Right.
considerable amount off of that list. It's very, we're very fortunate.
I would say that I don't have the numbers in front of me. Wendy probably has it by heart. That represents, like hundreds of thousands of
Mhm.
dollars in back taxes, for those properties, but and we haven't figured out every detail about how to make that happen, like there's be some to be decided. But the fact that we've got 5 rehabs and 6 or more demos, we're trying to work through how to get done on there is pretty good. Just to refresh everybody's memory, the world is different than it used to be. The county has no way to make any proceeds, well, that's not exactly true. The county has far less ability to recover, to obtain any proceeds above and beyond what the back tax amount is, just because of how Supreme Court decision impacted it with excess proceeds going to the former owner if they were to make a claim. Theoretically, some former owners wouldn't make a claim, although it's probably unlikely. The county doesn't have a way to really make that up. In the past, the county would essentially make money on some properties, and that would sort of offset the properties that they gave or sold for very, very, very cheap to the land bank. And so it's a different world that we're operating under now, but I feel really good about Wendy and Cheryl, the county attorney, but also the county executive, the chairman and the rest of the legislature about figuring out a way that we can still get properties, because without that, that's a significant problem for the land bank. If we have 5 more coming, they'll fit under either LBI or under ARPA
We have-
programs, right?
We have just enough, we have just over $1.9 million either spent or committed on ARPA projects,
Out of 2 million.
out of 2
That's
million.
great.
So $100,000 is not enough
Right.
for one, for.
But we can mingle funds.
But we can take some of our LBI funds and kind of split it and so fund those 5 projects in the city with LBI funds that we have.
Great.
And then the other thing I'd just say, not to raise alarm, but the Supreme Court did agree to pick up another tax foreclosure case in Michigan.
Yep.
What's this one about?
Mhm.
It's about whether the auction truly represents
Yep.
fair market value. So the worst case scenario, they destroyed property tax enforcement across the entire country, like seriously. Most likely is they'll just set guidelines to what makes for a reasonable auction. Versus anything else, like requiring an agent to list for a year, like a couple states have done. Wake of Tyler, it's just insane.
Mm.
So, they may probably make the decision by April, May, they'll hear it, probably February. But our organization is working with a lot of other organizations to submit amicus briefs, just to let them know. Won't do something.
Yeah.
In this particular case, the former owner is saying that by going to auction, it's in essence a short sale, and the property sold for 70,000, and the assessment on the property was 260. So in essence, he's owed $190,000, and so he's suing the county for $190,000 short.
It's a tough one too, because I know the law does, the state law, right, as it relates, does have language about assessment, right? Where that's been discussed.
Yeah, if there's a non-public sale.
I
Mhm.
hesitate to use that.
Me too.
I would hesitate to recommend anybody use assessment as an indicator of what value is. Assessment,
It's not
I
uniform.
like assessors, I do, but that's not always directly related to, especially depending on how often reassessments are done and all of that, right? It's not always a direct indicator, whereas an auction, real people are bidding real money, and I guess you could argue that that's not as transparent, right, as having.
Yeah, I mean, it trigger a debate of hypotheticals, there's so many what ifs, but just on the radar, it's gonna happen. gonna have to contend with.
Appreciate that. And I'm sure there'll be a look back on that. Just like there is always a look back, and so anything we do here outside of that is gonna be scrutinized.
Which would be great.
And then what the difference between the sale and the liability is automatically admitted to the former.
Not automatically, they have to file a claim with the court, and they have up to 3 years from the date of the auction to file a claim.
So then the proceeds are just held in escrow.
They are, yep.
That's why there's a huge concern from the county, because it's not as if, it's not just what we have going forward, but they essentially have 3 years from the auction to bring the claim, so we've already gotten many claims,
Yes, we have.
right, because it had,
We've actually gotten claims from prior to.
that'll be coming too through the course.
We
at
already
some
have.
point. Yeah,
Mhm.
so there's a liability, a financial liability for the county on this for things that were done before this was even something we knew about. You know, that creates some, some concern. Because that's money we gotta pay out, but we don't. Have. Right, that's what happens, so. That would be a, Thirty thing. I guess I would just say, from the land bank's perspective, and I think from the county's perspective. We should still try to do, and the county executive, the chairman, the legislature, will all say this. I think I feel comfortable speaking for them on this. We all need to do what we need to do to best address blight in our community, right? Within the confines of the law, but we need to keep pushing and trying. We can't end up in a situation where vacant properties that are falling down are not addressed. Like, we need to do that, and we also need to try to fix up properties that need to be fixed up, give people opportunities. I think everybody would agree with that under the confines of the new reality we face. So, yeah. It's harder, much harder, I guess, I would just say, than it used to be. Okay, any other comments? If not, Rob, when's our next meeting?
December 9th.
December 9th. Is that before or after the land bank Christmas party?
That's.
TBD. TBD.
How
A
much
joke.
is it making? It's 9,000.
One of our colleagues, did suggest using those funds for, Christmas parties, which, by the way, we have an organization, Christmas party, just wanted to make that clear. Or at least not one funded by the organization.
It'll be a few years until we do a strategic plan, so.
There we go. That
Yeah.
could be the top thing to put on there.
Yeah.
December 9th. Thanks,
Yes.
Rob. Any other business to come before the board? If not, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn. Mike, thank you. Do we have a second? Tony, thank you. All in favor of adjourning, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you.
Aaron.